Welcome to the Footy Show here on Patreon. Me and Ped chewing the fat over some European football stories.
Oh,
I mean, a great intro there, I thought. Does
anyone actually still chew fat?
I don't know. I mean, why would you?
Why would you chew fat?
Isn't it?
It's like when people used to say, "Oh, that's the best bit." Why? It's not the best bit at all. It's not the best bit.
When you have bacon, I can't even eat that bit. It has to be all cut out. That's just minging. Anyway, we spoke the other week about Bulgaria, the racism with England and all of that. This week they were fined €75,000 and given a 2-game stadium ban, one of which is suspended. So they've basically been ordered to play one game behind closed doors. Yeah. €75,000, which equates to about 66,000 English pounds for racism.
Yeah.
And that'll teach them.
That'll teach them.
They won't do that again.
And also, they have to have a big flag.
A big flag.
That says no to racism. Which could be, that might be the...
I mean, that's the deal, Sheila.
That might be the big thing.
That is the big thing. Yay, no to racism. Woohoo, Bulgaria are cured. I mean, these fines are nonsense. It's still £35,000 less than Nicholas Bentner was fined for wearing Paddy Power bills.
I don't even think it's about the fine, though. I don't think... the fine does not hurt the people who did it.
No.
The only thing that will hurt is if you give them...
expulsion
a
from
ban.
a tournament or whatever,
They're going to get banned for a game that means nothing.
Yeah.
They can't qualify it, so what's the...
Maybe just expulsion from the tournament.
Life.
I mean, maybe.
I honestly would say I'd honestly say the next tournament they're playing, you play
all your home games
every game behind closed doors. It
can be. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the only way to do it.
It's got to be, hasn't it? That's got to be. If you're going to punish the people who did it, then that's the only way to do it. And you've got it's just baffling. It's absolutely baffling.
The big flag's boss. The big flag saying no to racism. That, you know, it's just so much of an empty gesture.
Do you know what I would
nonsense.
do? You know what I would genuinely do? Because I think this could be the... I'd say that at every game you have to play, you play all your games, but they're all away fixtures. So everyone you play, you've got to play them twice away. And in that way, right, they have to fulfill the fixtures, fine. The opposition has an advantage against them, which means that's bad for them. They lose money because of the games. So rather than maybe a fine, you lose money. And I think that's actually, if you think about it, because I think there was one last week. Someone had a game behind closed doors. I think it might have been a club game, but you're punishing the opposition as well because the opposition can't take fans. So it's, and you sometimes punishing the opposition team because it's a very strange atmosphere. I honestly think the best punishment would be you've got to play every game away. So you play, let's say you get a group and you're playing against England. You've got to play England twice away. You got to play whoever Czech Republic twice away. I think that would be the best punishment. Because imagine the costing curve as well of having to play every game away for the whole tournament.
It's whether they do it, but
I honestly think that's the fairest way to do it.
It's an interesting proposal.
I think it's, and also
better ones,
like a kit with like
concrete.
No, like on the old way. Concrete football was one of the greatest. Commonwealth Games having a footy tournament was the best. What about if the team? Remember in the old day, like the old days, where if there'd been a woman. Remember the old Scarlet woman who had to wear? Maybe she had to. The woman if she got caught cheating, had to have a letter on her clothes. Wasn't it A for adultery? Imagine they had like something on their kit with a big R to specify that they were racists.
But the players weren't.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
No.
Or just on the kit.
No to racism.
No to racism on the kit as well. Something like that.
Yeah.
That they have to wear the whole game.
Yeah.
But I honestly think my first suggestion was a game changer. Every game away.
It literally was a game changer.
Every game away from home. Why should if England got Bulgaria again, right? England got Bulgaria again. Yeah. Why should England have to go over to Bulgaria and
risk being abused again?
Go through the same thing, let's say, the game getting played. Why should the England fans suffer not being able to travel to a game, support their country, their club, whatever, because of racist fans from the... Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense.
No, well, I mean, like I said,
mine does. Mine makes sense.
Mine's
the greatest suggestion anyone's ever suggested. Ever. About punishing football, club racism.
Fair enough. So there you go, €75,000 fine, 2-game stadium ban, 1 suspended and a big flag.
Big flag.
That's what you're getting for racism nowadays.
That's what you get.
Marvellous. One story's caught me today is there's a heading ban being proposed for kids.
Yeah.
Scotland trying to bring it in now. There's just been a study done.
Well, America have already got it, haven't they?
America have got it under 10. Scotland proposing under 12. The Premier League's having a look at it for their games. Lenny John Rose, who used to play for Blackburn Rovers and a few others, has developed motor neuron disease, which is obviously horrendous. And he's proposing under 14, saying that the brain isn't developed enough. Yeah. I mean, it's dead interesting, this one, I think, because obviously the more studies they do, the links, there is links there to it.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's a difficult one, because obviously we can't sit here and be like funny about it, because we don't know. What I would say is, it's when you talk about it, it seems a little bit over the top, right? Because we all played football, we all headed the ball, right? We all did that. But we're both reasonably young as well. The effects wouldn't hit till later on, and also the people who may have already died from it wouldn't have put the 2 and 2 together. And it's a weird one, this, because what's funny is I remember seeing football has been very slow to this, and it's one of the reasons why Gordon Taylor needed bombing, because when it was proposed to him that he should do a study because of what happened to Jeff Astle, he just poo-pooed it, and it was like, and then he threw a little bit of money at it, and they never done a proper study, and that was going against the fact that, you know, he was earning £2 million a year to be the head of the players' union, and really wasn't protecting the players. And it was interesting because I remember at the time when the documentary was on, and it was, you know, the family were proper like distraught with the way they'd been treated by the players' union. And I remember speaking to people saying, well, surely that won't happen anymore, because they used to play with a big heavy ball, and you can understand it in the old days.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But someone made a great point to me, and he said, yeah, but what you forget is, in the old days they played with a heavy ball that you headed. Now they play with a light ball that gets kicked at much faster speeds. Yeah. So he said, the impact on your head, okay, it might only be a lighter ball, but it's still a massive impact that's going to shake your head. So it's all relative. And I'd never thought about that. And, you know, your head getting shook around. And have you seen the film, the one with Will Smith, where he plays an
American footballer,
African doctor who finds out?
I haven't seen, I know about it.
So basically, I can't remember what the film is. Not Collision, is it? Something like that. So in the film, and listen, it's based on real life. It's this idea of American footballers who'd been hit in the head, brain shaken, and in later life, it led to a lot of these American footballers killing each other or going on. And we've had other things, other sports. Who's a wrestler who killed his family, himself and his family, and they put it down to the fact that his finishing move, whether you think wrestling's real or not, he used to jump off the top rope and like headbutt you. Now obviously the contact is minimal, but if he's working every single night and that's his move, it's going to end up affecting you, isn't it? And what he was saying is, like, you know, it is the same thing. And American football were very negative. They didn't want people coming on the outside coming in, because he was proposing you need to ban it. You know, you can imagine, can't you? And he was proposing, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. And they tried to backlist them basically. But in the end, they had to change, because in the end, the evidence was so overwhelming that head injuries, and I think they had to pay out millions and millions of pounds.
So how did he think against it now?
I think contact is not, you're not allowed head-to-head contact. And rugby have took this on, where you're not allowed high tackles. It's a red card, and it's punishable. So football have to take this seriously. And the only way you take it seriously is not by burying your head in the sand. It's by doing a study, right? Now, we can all sit here going, oh, it never affected us. But we don't know if it affected us.
Well, the other side of that is when we're sitting here as not professional footballers who head the ball every single day.
That's the other side of it. From
once a week.
From 6, from 6 onwards. Like, 6. Even if you headed a ball, if you joined an academy at, say, 8, and you was at an academy till you're 18, that's 10 years of every single day heading in a football.
Yeah.
And that's when it's in its that phase. What football needs to do is take it seriously, do more studies, find out the impact, and if in the meantime they either decide that they're going to ban it, or see, the problem with banning it is heading's a major part of the game, and if you can't do it right and you don't learn, like, even though I'm tall, I was a terrible header of the ball, and the reason why is I was scared of the ball when I was younger. So I never learned how to head the ball properly, never had my timings right and all that. And that's what these kids would suffer with. So they've got to get round that by maybe, I don't know, maybe getting them to wear protective headwear. Like
Softer balls.
I know, but then the problem with softer balls is it comes down to, is that true? Do you get a true reflection? Or do you create a ball that you only use for heading practice, and it has the relative effects of what a normal ball would be like, but there's less impact? Or do you have like a Petr Cech head protection that you have to wear in training that would soften the blow of a head of a ball?
But isn't it still shaking your head around?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, well, last week a report was published titled "Football's Influence on Lifelong Health and Dementia Risk" found footballers are 3.5 times more likely to suffer from degenerative brain conditions as the general population. 7,500 Scottish footballers born between 1900 and 1976 were matched with 23,000 people from similar backgrounds. It led to the Scottish Football Association considering a ban on children under 12 heading the ball, and former player Lenny Johnrose, who was diagnosed with motor neuron disease in 2017, called for children under 14 to be banned from heading altogether. The United States is the only country in the world which has a similar ban. John Rose says, at least in America, they've done something straight away. We're taking chances with people's lives, and it sickens me. I'm going to spend the next few weeks, months, however long it takes, speaking to as many authorities as I can, trying to get them to do something about it. It's not even a big loss to say at your age, 14 and under, you're not heading the ball. It won't cause any harm or damage to anybody. The FA's independently chaired Medical and Football Advisory Group does not yet believe there is enough evidence, despite it being there, to make changes to the way the modern day football is played. It has reissued best practice coaching advice in youth football, which advises limiting repetitive heading practice and using age-appropriate balls and softer items like balloons or sponge balls.
See, I think that's a cop-out.
Well, it is, isn't it?
I mean, the reason why America have banned it, and I'm pretty sure, is because football over there is a sport that's seen as quite a soft sport. And that's why kids play, boys and girls play it.
Soccer.
Is because their mums and dads don't want them playing sports where they could get hurt. So football is always seen, soccer, as a relatively soft sport. And that's why they have had to instantly say, we'll stop the heading, because otherwise they would lose all. They know there's a percentage of their players who, as I say, that's why it's been such a massive youth sport in America. They don't want their kids getting smacked up and down their head, because that football, obviously American football has impacted part of the game. Yeah. They don't want that. So that's why they've banned it, because they instantly know we'll lose loads of kids. The mum and dads will go, well, if this sport's not safe, then they're not playing this either. Because that's the kind of numbers they're getting. So they've got to do the studies, and that's the thing. They've got to do the studies and do all the background checks and see what they can come up with. It's always going to be part of the game. You've just got to possibly limit it, or kids are going to have to start wearing headwear or something. I don't know. It's interesting because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in football that we sort of take for granted, and yet there's more things coming out. I remember reading something about a lad who got cancer, playing football, and he was at a club, and at first he'd be like, oh, it's terrible that he got cancer. And what his dad actually identified it as being was, or what he believes it is that because he's a goalie, and he was playing a lot of games on artificial pitches, the rubber on the pitch, they use a lot of car tires and things like that. Yeah. To recycle it. I mean, remember we went to St George's Park.
I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go, did you? When we went to St George's Park, we played on Continental pitch. Yeah. Right, so literally a pitch made by car tires, by a car tire sponsorship, and that's what a lot of it. Now, in the making of those tires, you have the metal in the tires, and they see that rubber and that metal it's pretty toxic. Pretty toxic, and you've got all these pictures, and there's a lot. So it's mad how all these things are starting to people are starting to understand, putting two and two together, and go, actually, well, if there's a kid diving around the pitch, he might be inhaling the little tiny. I mean, I come home from football on a Thursday night, and for days they're all over. You take your shoe off, and they're all over because they stick to your sock, and they're in your shoes and everything. So if you're diving around in them, and it's just mad that all these we're starting to learn all these things now that at first people dismiss, but then the more you think about it, and the more that goes into it, listen, no sport is safe. No. But we've got to try and make it as safe as possible. Otherwise, and we know...
Snooker's safe.
Oh, you
I suppose you could hit your back, bend them over.
Right, put them in a sock, the balls. No, but as a society, we are becoming we're becoming more and more in tune to. No one wants their kids to be hit, and no one's going to go, oh, we're all right now, we live. I know they call it like the snowflake generation and all that, but it's not just people understanding that. They don't want their kids to be hit. So we're going to try and protect them any way they can. And so we've got to make it as safe as we can. So we need all the studies, and we'll see what happens.
But yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, because it is dementia, and if you can cure, well, not cure it, but if you can cut down on those.
The problem, it's not a problem. But the thing about it is now, dementia and things are becoming more and more apparent. And the reason why is they've almost sorted the bodies out. We're eating better, we're getting better exercise, we're not smoking as much, we're not drinking as much, so our bodies are staying healthier longer. But that what happens is, then, because people don't die as early as they used to, now that's like, we're now like, well, why is there all dementia? Why is there Parkinson's? Why is there Alzheimer's? It's like, well, your body's lasting longer, but your brain's not. And that's the next thing, isn't it?
So can we short the brain, yeah?
We'll all be living to 200.
Might be that
Honestly, long. Could you live with another 153 years Everton?
Might take that long till we win the league. That's why. One of the stories that interested me looking at the European roundup was Granada, who went top of the league over the weekend, because obviously Barcelona and Real Madrid didn't play because the Clasico was thingy, and they won. And the reason why it interested me was this was the club that Tony Adams was at a couple of years ago. Remember, doing all his moves, and they finished bottom that year and got relegated, and they only had 20 points, and he was laughed at really and made fun of and all that. But there was an interview with Jin Zhao, I think his name is, the owner, and he was saying how influential Adams has been in the way the club is now, because apparently...
I bet that's a big relief to him.
No, but what happened was, when he went there, I think there was only 3 Spanish players in the squad. There was 20 nationalities and all that, and he said one of the recommendations he made to the owner was, you need to put a core of Spaniards back in this team, and all that. So anyway, they did it, and they've moved on, and they've appointed Diego Martinez, who's 38 years of age, he's the manager, and they went top of the league at the weekend, so they're flying in La Liga. But I just thought it was funny, because I remember the dancing video of Adams giving it the big one. But they're third, because obviously there was games in midweek. Barca won 5-1 against Valladolid. Just surprised to see Sandro Ramirez not scoring.
It's a shock. How many goals has he got for the season now?
None at the moment.
Yeah, that's about
but Messi with another brace the other night. Lenglet, Vidal and Suarez, they won 5-1 on Tuesday, Atletico Madrid drew 1-1 with Alaves. Morata again. She scored at the weekend, scored again. He's doing okay. And then Real Madrid won 5-0. Just keep going. Under Zinedine, who's now come out and said Gareth Bale's never asked to leave Real Madrid. It's his latest thing in that saga. We're not going to keep going back over that.
Amazing.
There is a mad saga.
Did he say it in English or Spanish? Or did he not say it in English and Spanish?
Maybe that's why. He hasn't told them
he
in
didn't
Spanish.
know how to say it.
He didn't know what's what. But
Por favor, Elivio, Clubio.
Please. Silva, Cruz, Ramos penalty, Benzema and Jovic with a goal. Isn't there? He hasn't really torn it up.
Not him or Hazard have though, have they really?
No, neither of them haven't. Yeah. They haven't hit the ground running. So at the top for Barcelona, 22 points in 10 games. Real Madrid, 21 points from 10 games. Granada, 20 points from 10 games. Atletico then, 20 points from 11. And Sevilla, 20 points from 11. So
tight at the top.
2 points. Well, even 6, Real Sociedad and 6 with 19. So one win separates Barca from 6th place at the moment.
Incredible.
In Spain, great times happening in Spain there. Over in Italy, Romelu Lukaku scored again. Scored the winner, as well was what the winner for Inter at Brescia. The other night, Martinez with the other goal. And then last night, Juventus eventually beat 9-man Genoa. Getting beat for a while. But
interesting.
Bonucci and Cristiano Ronaldo penalty in the 96th minute won them the game.
Thiago Motta's
Genoa. The 2-7-2 or whatever that he wants to. I don't know whether he played that last night, but 2 men sent off within 6 minutes.
But he couldn't have played it, could he?
Couldn't have played it then. He'd have been struggling.
Could have been 7-2.
Yeah, maybe. At the top there, Juventus, 26 points from 10 games. Inter Milan, 25 points from 10 games. Atalanta, 21 points from 10 games. Roma, 19 from 10. Roma, Chris Smalling scored. They won 4-0 away.
And they never took Jack Rodwell, did they?
Did they not take him?
No, they decided against it.
Oh.
It was him and another player that were both out of contract. And I think the other player was Italian. No, he wasn't Italian. He was from Liechtenstein, I think. So Jack Rodwell got had off by someone from Liechtenstein. But the lad, I think, had played in Italy and they took him instead of Jack.
And probably because the lad had 2 legs that worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think that came into it as well at some point. So, you know, but I mean, great, that Smalling, Jack Rodwell.
Incredible. Lazio, big winners, 4-0 against Torino. And then the other one, in Napoli and Atalanta, Ancelotti was sent off the side.
For what?
And buffoonery. Napoli have said the referee displayed buffoonery.
It's not something you want to see.
If you're going to display anything...
Unless you go to a zoo.
That would be buffoonery, surely.
Depends if you've got a lisp.
Or if you... Well, it does. Or if you went to watch Juventus. And then it become buffoonery. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do now.
I mean, you were on it. So there you go. Over in Germany at the weekend, Bayern Munich beats Union Berlin. John Dash will be fuming.
He would be.
Be absolutely full dashed off.
I wonder how he'll
celebrate.
How
he'll commiserate. Probably just the night
Make
out.
a chair.
Make a chair.
Make a chair. Make it safe.
Have a pizza.
Yeah.
Bit of standing. They won 2-1. Schalke 0, Dortmund 0. John Joe Kenny continuing to
Best
tear it
right
up.
back in.
He is. And Schalke obviously have said they want to keep him. Because basically they love him.
Can't you take Seamus?
I don't know whether they'd want Seamus, to be honest. I don't know whether we want Seamus at the moment, so I'm not sure they'd want him. And then Mönchengladbach beat Frankfurt 4-2 on Sunday in the Bundesliga. So at the top, Mönchengladbach are top with that 4-2 win. They've got 19 points from 9 games. Bayern Munich second, 18 points from 9 games. Freiburg third.
It's all going up.
17 points from 9 games. Wolfsburg fourth, 17 points from 9 games.
More Bergs than the Titanic had to put up with.
There is Borussia Dortmund fifth with 16 from 9. And then Leipzig, Schalke and Leverkusen all with 15 from 9. And I suppose the hang on a sec, the big story from Germany, and I'll tell you right now, from the weekend, if you just bear with for a sec.
I'm bearing.
Make sure you bear.
I'm bearing.
The big story from the weekend is Adam Ola-Luchman started the game.
Yeah.
Started the game. They lost to Freiburg. He actually played the 90 minutes, which is
Good luck to him.
probably the first time in his career that he's completed 90 minutes.
Good luck to him.
And the other big story is that Davy Klaassen scored in a 2-2 draw for Werder Bremen against Leverkusen.
Kevin Morales scored as well, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Shut the front
He
door.
scored. Yeah, Kevin Morales
Super
scored.
Kev. Who does he play for? Antwerp.
Royal Antwerp.
As if it hasn't got the goal scorers.
Oh, you need different. The Sky app's crap.
This is the Sky app.
No, it's crap.
It's got the score.
You need
And it's got the shots.
No, I know.
No, I believe you.
I'll tell you what the app you need.
I believe you.
I'll tell you right now. The app you
I'm
need.
not getting Le Belgique football.
No, there's an app. It's well better. I'll tell you now. I'll tell you. There's an app for that. Remember that one?
There's an app for everything.
It's called Flash Scores.
Flash.
Boss. It's got everything.
Kevin Morales.
Every league in the world has got everything.
Okay. Maybe that's the one I need. Then maybe the Sky app.
What date was it? Sunday.
It was Saturday, the 26th of October.
Hang on, let me have a look.
He
Saturday.
Isn't that KV Court? Isn't that Dingy's team?
Yeah. The
Fraser Hornby.
Jupiler, yeah. Antwerp played KVK, which is Hornsby. Morales scored in the 45th minute with a penalty.
No penalty. Did he snatch it off someone? Hornby didn't score, no.
Hornby didn't score. He got took off. Morales got took off also. Let's have a look how long they played.
Imagine my surprise. Morales not finishing the game.
Kevin Morales.
Oh.
He went off on the
80th
minute.
Oh, 80th. Ooh.
80th minute.
Let's put a shift in there for Kev.
That was his first goal of the season. And where is he? Fraser Hornby went off
56.
66.
66.
He has scored. He's only scored the 2 goals this season, both in the same game.
It's all right.
Yeah, they got beat on the 29th as well. 2-1 by Eupen. There you go. Honestly,
did Hornby's team.
Best at that. Flash goals.
That is
Honestly,
I might
it's
get
amazing.
that. That sounds
Look at that. Look at that. Look at all the games.
Giving me
all the leagues.
Every league
Look.
and every game.
Look.
Oh, I'm looking.
Look.
I
Keep
can
look.
see
Just
lots.
keep look.
Yeah.
How many leagues are there in the Czech
There's
Republic?
a lot of leagues. There's a lot of leagues.
There they go. Keep going. Look at this.
I mean,
Look at this.
still,
We're still only on G for Germany. This is incredible viewing this, by the way.
I mean, everyone is
Yep.
delighted with what
go.
you're showing them here.
It's got the North Macedonia 2nd division.
Well, I mean, that's the one I was hoping
Flash
for.
scores. Flash scores. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Dun, dun.
Move on.
MLS. Just very briefly, MLS playoffs.
Semi-finals. Well,
it's the finals, wasn't it?
well, yeah. I mean, it's the
semis,
final
essentially.
semi.
Yeah. But
well, we seen Zlatan went out, didn't he?
they'd gone out through LAFC.
5-3 was it?
5-3. And LAFC played Seattle. So LAFC, the big favourites.
At home, big favourites.
Got tonked 3-1. No goal for Carlos Vela, which is a surprise. Atusta put LA in front, but Rudiaz scored after 22 minutes. 5 minutes later to equalise. Nicola Ladero, 26, and then Rudiaz made it 3-1. So that was a shock. So Seattle knocked them out. And then last night, we had Atalanta at home to Toronto.
Or just Atlanta.
Atlanta, even not Atalanta, yeah. Atlanta. And Atlanta went ahead. Joe Gressel early on, 4 minutes, and then Benazet and Nick De Leon, formerly of DC United, getting the winner.
So,
yeah, Seattle.
A Canadian team versus a what's it called? Northwest Pacific or something they call it, don't they? That's what they call it. Pacific Northwest. That's what they call it. Sorry. Even
Interesting. I mean, both of these have been in the cup finals over the last couple of years.
I wouldn't have had these down.
No.
For it.
Toronto. I mean, I watched Toronto against Rooney's team the other week, DC, and DC equalised late on, and then he just scored 4. Toronto's got 4 goals in 12 minutes and blitzed them. Then they beat New York City with a 96th minute penalty or whatever it was, a little Pozuelo with the little Panenka to get through that one. And now they've gone and won in Atlanta, which is a difficult place to go.
It's a difficult place to go.
It is
on Tuesday night.
Well, it was literally a Wednesday night,
Well,
but it's
more difficult on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday,
and and that's why they probably won.
And that was
Because it was a Wednesday.
So it's Toronto. Yeah. Seattle v Toronto.
Who's got home advantage?
I think Seattle have got home advantage.
See, that was the mad thing about LAFC. If they could have got to the final, they would have had home advantage as well. Yeah. So two of the big favourites.
There you go. Seattle v Toronto. Josie Altidore, is he going to get another? His hands on another MLS.
That's all you need to
Cup,
know.
or is Jody Morris? Not Jody Morris.
Jody Morris.
Not Jody Morris. Jordan Morris gonna do it for
Chelsea. Doing well, but not that well.
Yeah, not that well. I mean, he's not even there, is he? Or is he still there? I don't know.
He's like assistant manager.
Is he assistant manager?
Yeah.
Bit lamps, big lamps. One thing I meant to mention with Barcelona's 5-1 victory was a story's come out today. It basically come from Gerard Piqué, saying that the Barcelona players had all had a meeting in the summer and agreed to adjust their contracts so that the club could afford to bring Neymar back.
And then Griezmann walked in and they were all like, shit.
Oh, no.
He's like, I'm not adjusting, man. I've only just got here.
So it didn't happen. Barcelona tried everything. Paris wouldn't part with him. In the end, he wanted to go. He even went to see his sister for a couple of days to not train with PSG and try to force it. Didn't happen. Yeah. But again, this is one of those. Very much like the way I feel about Marco Silva at the moment.
Irony is,
it's a case of when, not if.
The irony is, Paris Saint-Germain he's not playing, he's got an injury, and they don't need him.
Don't even need him.
They don't need him in the team.
They'd have been better just going to Barca, 150 million, whatever, just take him. Get him out the club, get him off the wage bill, take him back. But just thought it was interesting that they'd all agreed. So he's obviously really well liked in the Barcelona dressing room. That they're all like, yeah, I don't mind not getting paid if we can bring him back. Weird. We also seen Carabao Cup action this week obviously in England. Tuesday night, Burton 1, Leicester 3, Crawley 1, Colchester 3, Everton 2, Watford 0, Man City 3, Southampton 1, Oxford 1, Sunderland 1, Oxford winning 4-2 on pens. And then last night, Liverpool 5, Arsenal 5, Villa 2, Wolves 1, Chelsea 1, Man U 2. Liverpool, Arsenal, we were in the studio talking about it and going, wish that Julio Baptiste fella would turn up and get 4 and beat them 6-3. And we were like, as if it'd ever be that score again. 5-5. I mean, Liverpool just have this thing at the moment that they just can't be beaten.
Yeah.
They just never know when they're beaten.
It's called having the right attitude.
It is. It's a brilliant attitude to have. If you want to be 3-1 down and 4-2 down against any team in the country apart from Everton, it's Arsenal, because they are woeful at the back. No matter who they play, they're terrible.
The mad thing about a game like that is, though, I can't look at a game like that and basically think that's a first team game.
Well, it isn't a first team.
That's what I'm saying. I look at that and go, that game was no different than when like Everton under-23 is playing like
Burton.
The leasing.com cup. Yeah. I look at, there's no difference. It's a game full of kids with a few squad players mixed in. It's not a first team fixture.
That's a friendly, isn't it?
It's not a first team fixture.
And
therefore has no respect from me.
Scratch that from the record.
I don't believe in such things.
So basically, Arsenal went back 5-4 up, and then with a minute to go, Divock Origi overhead shinned and equalising. Done overhead kick, shinned it went in.
Full Velios.
And then off they went for it. Liverpool won 5-4 on penalties.
That was never going to be a shock.
Well, listen, when I said to me, I put it on, and it was 4-5, and it had 5 minutes.
I seen that.
So I said to me, missus, they'll equalise and win on penalties. Yeah. I checked 10 minutes later, and that's exactly what had happened. So you can just write it.
You can write it. Write itself.
Absolutely.
Write itself.
So the draw for the quarter-finals is Colchester, Manchester United v Colchester, City, Oxford v Man City.
Great one for Oxford, that.
Aston Villa against
Liverpool
and Everton Leicester. Everton Leicester were the last teams out the hat. So it's for Everton's perspective, it's a tough draw, but it's at home. And so that's the...
I must admit, I didn't want Leicester at all, because...
No, well, they're going for it.
They'll go for it, won't they? They'll go... It's at home. But when people were like, I don't want this team or that team, I was thinking, well, Liverpool will still probably put a scratch team out. They don't even want to play the game, do they?
Being funny, mate. They would have put a scratch team out and knocked us out. Imagine how bad that would have been.
I know.
So,
but Villa
will beat them anyway.
But he's moaning now that he wants to pull
he
out
said he
unless
wants
the
to pull out of
But
it.
I thought the fixtures had already been changed. So Liverpool will be in the World Club Championship, cup thing, whatever. Had about 11, against teams from like nowhere.
Japan.
What a load of nonsense that is.
Crap.
Give them a trophy now. They'll play River Plate, won't they, in the final? That's if they get to the final. They haven't last year, it was one of the teams from the Middle East, I think, who got to the final, wasn't it? It is, it's jagged, but they'll lord it. They'll have a big boss.
If River Plate get there, Gallardo will want to win that.
No, I'm saying, but last season they never got to the final.
No.
So he's moaning now, isn't he, that, what they were saying is that if they can't get the fixtures changed, they wanted them to play that game. And it'd be like Big Sam. Remember Big Sam sent the Everton team over to
Minshall.
Minshall, and he was like, yeah, "You'll be all right, lads. Don't worry about it." It'd be like that. Someone would have to stay behind.
Klopp doesn't care. He's just like, whatever. We won't play it then. He said, "Well, Arsenal through, not bothered." So for Everton, it's an opportunity to get. It's a big game, and it's an opportunity to get into the semi-final. It's a home game, so get it done.
December is looking
and finally, Dick Advocaat's manager a Feyenoord again. He's had about 4. Has he managed every club in Holland?
It's not like a drink you think it's a Christmas.
He is.
He's one of those managers, isn't he? It's like England's like the only country where we have like a conveyor belt, but they're all for shite managers at lower down. In all the other countries, they're just all the top managers just manage all the top clubs, and there's no thing about it at all. But in this country, we're like, I can't have him as the manager.
Do you mean like if they're sacked and that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here you've written off then, aren't you?
No, you've written off. It's just that if you've managed a big club here, or even if you played for a big, you can't go. And it's weird that it's
they don't care. Everyone, the CV has every top club on, doesn't it? It is mad. So that's it.
There you go.
That is it for this week. There you go. That is
very serious to a point.
It was serious to a point. And then we finished with a bit of dick. So there you go.
We finished with a bit of.
There you go. Thanks for watching. See you later.